When Makoto Shinkai has been asked in the past about why he makes specific types of films that seem meant for a specific audience, his responses suggest he was confused and slightly annoyed with the question, stating that he always intended for his films to be for everyone. Upon subsequent interviews following the success of his 2016 film Your Name, he seems to have changed his tone a bit, aware that more people are paying attention to him at this point. I understand his point of view as an artist. While one would like their works to be seen and admired by everyone, and while fans, like me, would want to recommend that everyone see it, I am also well aware that not everyone has the same tastes that I do. In fact, most of the films I consider required viewing would not be enjoyed by my friends and family, and in reality most will not have heard of them. Shinkai in particular is known for telling emotions rather than stories. His previous 5 years across over 15 years in the industry focus squarely on romance and longing. I love his voice as an artist, but these movies are flawed for that reason, and not easy to enjoy. Perhaps this is part of the reason why Your Name would be so successful. Shinkai already had a dedicated fan base. We were just waiting for him to make a universally appealing story that we would recommend and show off to the world. Indeed, it is easily the most accessible of all of his works, and became the most successful anime film of all time in Japan, beating even internationally acclaimed works of the likes of Studio Ghibli. It received glowing reviews from almost every Western film critic. It received numerous awards, despite no nominations at the Academy Awards. Until they finally add a Best Foreign Language Animated Feature category, it is difficult to contain any respect for the show regarding the world of animation. At this time, even a live-action Hollywood adaptation is reportedly in the works. I suspect this is all hype that will eventually die down, for I feel Your Name is not in fact Shinkai's best movie. It is simply his most accessible, to be a favorite among the average anime fan. And what makes this so different to be more accessible than Shinkai's past works? Because, first and foremost, it is a comedy. His past movies were always incredibly serious and solemn, again focusing entirely on an impossible love between two characters. In Your Name, the setup premise doesn't necessarily promise romance. It follows two Japanese teenagers Mitsuha and Taki as they learn that, mysteriously, they are switching bodies in real life when they go to sleep, living a day in each other's lives one day at a time. Mitsuha is a girl and Taki a boy, so naturally they both have awkward moments dealing with an unfamiliar body, while being understandably curious. They each feel like fish out of water, with Mitsuha being from the countryside and Taki from the big city, and their behavior seems strange to friends and family around them, all the more entertaining when they return to their original bodies and have to deal with what they had supposedly done the previous day. Of course they want to understand why this magical occurrence is happening, but are just trying to make it through the day without ruining each other's lives, while maybe having a bit of fun in the process. This type of story has been done before. Many people have compared it to the American film Freaky Friday, and there are plenty of anime that feature body swapping. So it's to Shinkai's credit that it doesn't feel repetitive here. The film wastes no time getting into the gimmick, and the audience is immediately aware something is off before the characters come to the same conclusion. Naturally, and not just because this is a Shinkai film, a budding romance eventually blossoms as the two discover more about each other, and there is a twist about a new boundary separating them that partly explains the magic as well as threatens the lives of hundreds of people. The romance is no longer the forefront, but rather the backing glue that ties everything together, and is plenty exciting and entertaining even for viewers who don't like wishy-washy love, and is likely to convert some of them to root for the love by the end. Well done. This is Shinkai's first film to be distributed from the start by Toho Pictures, a well-known mainstream distribution firm in Japan, so I am certain he wrote the story in mind of satisfying the group as well as aiming for a more mainstream audience. Aside from a few minor elements, the concept of drinking saliva sake was treated with respect and with realistic embarrassment by the characters, but still grosses me out. It's a film that translates well to international audiences as well as viewers of all ages. To many people, this is the first time they will have seen the incredible detail in Shinkai's animation. Several moments offer the beautiful renderings of skies, clouds, falling stars, sunrises, sunsets, doors opening and closing, trees swaying, and buildings reflecting light we've come to expect. The character designs are slightly bland but serviceable. For that matter, the visual style overall feels like a slight step back from his previous work The Garden of Words, which would be the first time his films didn't make a definite step forward in quality. It's a shame to think his artistic skills have peaked, but I heard this was in part of a larger creative team that overtook some of the duties while Shinaki acted as director. Either way, if this is the best we will see of him, it still looks really darn good. This wouldn't be a Makoto Shinkai film without pop music. The first few minutes of Your Name is opening directed like a music video. The music is credited to the Japanese band Radwimps, complete with 4 vocal pop songs by them. Never heard of Radwimps? You probably won't much after this film either. But they worked hard on the music, even recording English language versions of the songs specifically for the American release. They don't translate perfectly, but still make up a memorable soundtrack worth purchasing separate from the movie, which is good since the rest of the background music isn't all that memorable in comparison. And special credit has to be given to the 2 lead voice actors, who had to act out being a different person in the same body, admirably done in both English and Japanese. Personally, I still think Garden of Words is my favorite Shinkai film, with Your Name being second and perhaps 5 centimeters per second being third. I don't think this type of film is what Shinkai is used to and would not expect his next to be as accessible, although he might be considering such a strategy after being overwhelmed by the success. Either way, it is satisfying to see an artist grow over decades to finally become the success many knew he would be. And of you, dear reader? If you have never seen a Makoto Shinkai film, rush out to find this. If you have seen all of Makoto Shinkai's films, drag your friends with you to see it. If you just like good crowd-pleasing movies, add this to your collection and enjoy it for years to come. There are plenty of other films I think are better, but without having ever met you, this is one of very few films I can say with certainty that you will enjoy. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to give us a like and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us create more videos like this in the future and we really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching and we hope to see you in our next video.